even though spring is right around the corner. It certainly doesn't feel like that in St. Louis, Missouri. Frigid, cold, and my least favorite time of year. Well, at least somebody's happy about it. You're watching Daylitor Knight X. X is for exotics. And as we take a look at my bearded dragon female Lucy, spring is just around the corner. Here in St. Louis, Missouri, we have very, very frigid, cold, bitterly cold, miserable, cloud-covered winters and late falls, and I absolutely hate it. I am an outdoors person. I love spring, I love summer, I love early fall. And we don't have very long cold periods here in St. Louis. They don't go on that long, I would say, compared to some places like Chicago and the northern states of the United States. But it's long enough for me where it starts to drive me crazy. So it's good to see that spring is around the corner and it's March. This girl here, she is one of the animals in my collection. I have a lot of animals that just, obviously, because it's colder here in Missouri, they just kind of settle down. A lot of my ball pythons go into this period where they just don't do anything. They don't eat a whole lot. They're very inactive. And usually around this time of year, they all start getting active again. And it's almost like clockwork. I know around March 1st, they all just start kind of, quote unquote, waking up. And this girl has been doing absolutely nothing but just laying around for the last couple months, almost 3 months now. Not eating as much as she used to. She's not very active. Around this time of year, she starts to get active again. She's done it every single year that I've had her. And one of my first signs that she's gonna do that is that she'll get up and literally start looking around, and she'll just go on this pooping spree, because she doesn't, when she's hibernating, she doesn't poop all that much. So she'll just go on this pooping spree, and for some reason this year, she's taking it, she'll poop and she'll walk right in it, and then she'll scratch her head and get it on her face, because you can literally see there's like some poop on her face, because she'll walk in it and then scratch her face or rub her face, and she'll get in her pond. You can see a little bit in there. And I just cleaned this cage out. We all know how that goes. Just cleaned it out, and she's gotten it all soiled again. The ongoing saga of my normal 100% het pied male, Kal-El, one of the most frustrated eaters in my collection. From November, December, and January, almost all of my ball pythons will slow down with feedings. And this guy has a really good feeding response for the most part, until those winter months come, and then he'll slow down. His feeding responses will slow down kind of, and he won't eat as much, and then he'll go all the way from that until around early spring, where I'm basically assist feeding him. He just seems like he loses the interest in wanting to eat, and I have to assist feed him, and then it's almost like pulling the string on a lawnmower. I have to start him back up again, and once he gets going again, he'll eat just fine. He's really tiny, as you can compare to this guy, my spark male Tony Montana. This guy is actually 2 years younger than that other one, but he's bigger, and that's because this guy never refuses a meal. He refuses a meal in this video because he's actually in shed in this video. And as you can see, this guy is really starting to look nice. He was a lot darker than this when I first got him, but he is starting to lighten up really well, and I'm really interested in seeing where this spark male goes color wise, because he is starting to lighten up with every shed. And unlike my het pied male, this guy maintains his weight. If I was blind, I would be able to tell if this guy was going to a shed, because his warning sign is that he will just stop eating. And he is very greedy. He's been putting on weight just fine. Again, he's 2 years younger than that het pied. And that's because this guy's feeding response is so remarkable, and I love him for that, because a lot of my males don't eat all that much. Most of my males will refuse meals more than they'll take them, but they keep their weight up, and that's good. And most of my females, they eat all the time, outside of a couple. But the smaller males here, especially these two, the size comparison, again, if you look at these two, the assist fed, the normal 100% het PIED, which is up top, and the spark is below in this shot, you can see the size difference. The het PIED is just a very slender snake, and he does not bulk up very well. He never ever gets really that full, even when he's on his game and he's pounding food, in his terms pounding food, which is just regularly, he never really puts on all that much weight, where the spark does easily. So after they got their cages cleaned out and I just go ahead and let them relax for a little bit, I always try to give them a feeding, especially around March 1st. I really get back on schedule and try to make sure that these animals are on the best schedule they possibly can be, especially for this guy who tends to want to go off food. I apologize beforehand for this shot. This is very brutal, obviously, but this is part of snake keeping, and I apologize again if this makes you squeamish, but if you're thinking about owning a snake, this is part of it that goes with it. And it's a good example of him not taking down that feeder, because I ended up having to assist feed him anyway. He ended up spitting it back out, and to get him on schedule and get him going, jumpstart again, I went ahead and assist fed him, and to get his weight up. Once his weight's up and he starts to take down food regularly on his own, obviously there's no need to assist feed him, but that every March, I would say, I have to do this same pattern. And in around 6 months, he'll start picking up on his own, having excellent feeding responses, and that's okay. Every year, he gets closer to getting on track with his own feeding schedule, and every year, he's doing a lot better with eating on his own. See you guys next time. Take care.